Ready, Skelly? Hi, true crime fans. It's me, Patty Lee, and Skelly. All right, we have got such a large amount of stuff. You guys, I am on the struggle bus because being in trial is no joke. I cannot imagine being a lawyer. Skelly, pay attention to the people at home. Okay, so we have, let's see, on deck. I have a little bit. Thank goodness the Defense Diaries, Bob Mata is tweeting. So yeah, we've got the Karen Reed trial. We've got, this is the one that I've been following this, guys, for years. I've been following the person whose chat I'm in, which is Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibis. I found her in Fruit Loop from the very beginning. It was during the pandemic. They were two friends. At first, it was just audio. They were so good just listening to them chat. And boy, if you want to know that trial, know Gigi. She has done so many things. Look at my hair, looks great today. Again, I feel like I have been preparing for trial, and of course, as much as I don't know about you guys, but as much as I shout at the TV, like, objection prior, testifying, objection, leading, objection, you're rude and condescending. Oh, that's not one. That's not grounds for an exception. Um, the exception he's narrating is like he is testifying. It is disgusting. But poor Pryor, like really, he doesn't have much of a chance. Okay, can't see on a grape thing because my kid moved my grapevine at the time in the wrong place, and now Skelly and I have to lean over so you can see my grape. My grapevine. I can't figure that out. Here, let's see. Can we do it like this? Can you still see Skelly? Ooh, that's not good. That's not good, people. Again, it is Friday. I wish I had a drink. Again, not sponsored, but Yetis, anybody? Yeah, I'm a Yeti fan. And Cinco de Mayo's coming up, and I'll tell you what, they can hold a cold drink for a very long time. And if you have a frozen marg or just a margarita, as we discussed today in chat, somebody was like, "What's a marg?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, let me tell you what a marg is." Um, we've got So we've got an update by Gisela K of the Grizzly True Crime. If you don't know Grizzly True Crime and Gisela K, she is a South African lady who she has a background in aviation. She and I believe her husband does aviation software. That now she has written true crime books about a number of serial killers and has moved to the Netherlands, which I believe is maybe her husband's home country. Anyways, and she covers true crime here in and around like other places, but a lot of our US crimes. And she does such good deep dives. You guys, one, you can tell she's written books because you have to be able to have a good narrative, and B, um, she just like her research skills again for writing a book. One of the reasons I couldn't finish my dissertation is, as you notice, sometimes I get off task and I just blah 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 blah. Great for improv, kind of sucks in the academic world. But she talked about the Suzanne Morphew case. You guys, she has a 6-hour upload. Oh, am I watching it all? Skelly, am I? Yeah. Am I taking notes? Yeah, because she is reading the entire thing that Linda Stanley wrote. And everybody made fun of Linda Stanley, and there were some mistakes, but the thing was, Barry's daughter, right when he got arrested, he was like, it looked like he was packing up and leaving town. And they had not found Suzanne's body. But if you read this probable cause affidavit that led to him having, it wasn't a grand jury. Instead, he was indicted through this probable cause and had a initial hearing. What do we call that? First trial that then gives you the, you get bound over for real trial. So he looked like he was leaving. It was crazy. And then it looked like he would get away with it. And he had all this money because Suzanne had a bunch of inheritance that he got when she died. Then he declared her dead within the year, got that money after trying to vote in her name. And then after he got the money for that, he sold the house. the Puma Path $1 million house. So he had tons of cash and was kids out of school. He was hightailing it. I think his one daughter graduated high school and his other daughter graduated college, if I'm remembering that. Whatever. It kind of was a, are you going to pull the trigger or not moment? Kind of probably how I'm guessing, allegedly, just my opinion, don't sue me, Gary, kind of like I think Barry felt with Suzanne. She was leaving. And he had a, am I going to pull the trigger or not moment? And he did. My speculation. Just my opinion. Don't sue me. All right, and then the last thing is I'm kind of watching it now. You guys, can you see that? That's Ikadmel, and I think it's on his. He's got 2 channels, just Ikadmel and Ikadmel CC. Ikadmel is a regular guy, will probably be an interesting guy, not just a regular guy from Florida, and he's got this darling little daughter Maddie. And now I think he has a partner that sometimes goes on, but not often on lives. But he's a great guy. And like, I feel like I know him because I've been watching him since the Gabby Petito case. He covers true crime, a lot of things in Florida, a lot of, like he covered the, oh, stop that, Sadie Mae, the Santa Marta, Houston killings, a lot of, and the girl who went missing, in Texas. Oh, he covers a lot of things in Florida and a lot of things. Oh my God, my dog. Sadie Mae, come here. You want a treat? Come here, bring that to me. Bring that to me. Come here. Oh my God. You guys, my dog didn't do shit the whole day until now. Sadie Mae, go sit down. All right. Anyways, Ikadmel's great for covering cases that other people don't. He follows a lot of more minority related cases, and but he has a second channel. It used to be his only on his channel. He follows car chases from Los Angeles, and right now he's anywhere the police are doing something crazy. Car chases, and also where they use bear cats. It's I have seen the craziest stuff online, and it is such a nice palate cleanser from the typical true crime stuff that's so serious and disgusting. I mean, people are cray, and when they're running from the cops, it's like the OJ flight, only not as serious. Oh my gosh! Oh, whoa! They're breaking into this car, you guys. So I'm sort of watching that. Ikadmel CC is his car chase channel, but Ikadmel, it's a really good follow. Especially if you have a sense of humor. His chat's kind of a little wild, like really wild, but he is a very good person, I think. And I love the car chases. So anyways, that's that. So that's what we're talking about. Quickly, I want to hurry up because it's Friday night. I hope you're drinking. Maybe it'll go faster for you too. All right. Like I said, Karen Reed. I have to give cred to Bob Mata and his guy Jay. They are, you guys. I'm gonna have to put my dog. Hold on, Skelly. Skelly, can you talk to the people? Tell them about the Koi Pond painting and what the story is with that painting, okay? And I'll be right back. Go watch Ikadmel while he's still live right now while I'm live, and you would very much enjoy it. You'll probably see some black cats. Get out of here. Come on. Come on, Bubba. Come on, Bubba. Come on. Come on. You want a treat? You want a treat? Yeah, this is going to be a great live. This is the best of all lives. Why did I not put you in the hallway before? Come here. Come on. Come on. That's okay. Nobody's watching anyways. All right. This would be horrible if anybody watched, but nobody's watching anyway, because my channel is new. If you're watching, maybe I'll learn. Sorry, this is my teacher voice. I used to sing talk because, yeah. And this time I added my favorite channels that gave me information. And so this is going to make a great example of how not to do a live. All right. Karen Reed case. Thank you, Bob Mata. Thank you, Defense Diaries. If you want to know the real scoop on what's going on in a legal case, follow a lawyer. And I love Emily D. Baker. She was a prosecutor, and she and she says, and she talks from the prosecutor, way. And she's very non-biased. Love her to death. But Bob Mata and Allie Mata, his wife, are very passionate defense attorneys. His dad was the Gacy. He defended John Wayne Gacy out of Chicago. They're Chicago people. Shout out to the Windy City on Deep Dish. So anyway, I follow his tweets because I follow his channel. I watch all his lives. Right now I'm a member on his channel. His chats have a lot of really smart people. So the Karen Reed case, he just basically said they had another firefighter again on the stand. The defense is doing a really what am I doing here? A really good job of uh there's a lot of demonstration that not everybody heard the same thing, and some people changed their stories a little bit. And then most of the day, though, was dedicated to, very interestingly, going out to the scene, which is something I personally wish we could see. And I do not think it was filmed. I looked on X, Twitter, whatever, and did not see anybody showing it. There's a picture of the snowy day, but the picture that the police took of the snowy day don't show the body line there. And so, because the big, you know, argument is, was he hit 24 miles an hour as she did a 3-point turn? By the way, if you're not from like New York City or someplace where they have mass transit and you drive, especially if you're from an area where there's snow and you drive and you're on a residential street, she did a 3-point turn. Okay. And especially if you're drinking, I don't think you're driving. I mean, you drive fast, maybe forward on like whatever, but a 3-point turn is a 3-point turn. I don't know how you back up doing 24 miles per hour on a residential street during a snowstorm in a 3-point turn, and you hit your boyfriend, because I guess the argument is at first it was an accident. She didn't know because she's wasted. And then the other one is, oh, they had a fight and somehow she did this on purpose, which she'd have to be the best drunk person to be able to aim just right, doing a 3-point turn, knock him into the yard. And how far he went into the yard, we don't know how far. It's not really clear. It is kind of queer because we don't know. It's very strange. So hopefully we get some pictures. I guess the press was allowed to be there, but they had to stand very far back. And I don't know if they were allowed to take pictures, which is also, goes into that whole. And again, it doesn't have have to be a conspiracy where everybody's very organized and there's some like powerful entity. It can just be somebody made a horrible mistake. Somebody got scared. They started lying, started asking their friends, could you please cover for me? This is a horrible accident. And it just starts snowballing. Anyways, literally. Hopefully we get more about that. So that's what I know about the Karen Reed case. I will listen this weekend to more, and hopefully I'll make a regular upload instead of just lives. I'm doing lives now because I haven't learned how to edit yet. And it's just simpler to get out this first crush. And if you don't know, I call this the true crime grapevine because, like you heard it on the grapevine, it's gossip. It's what I'm hearing on the interwebs. That's why I tell you who I heard it from, because, playing a little bit of telephone here, right? I heard it from like Bob Mata. Like, go blame him. Of course, it's my impression of what Mata's impression of whatever, right? So again, the grapevine. Now you get it. So this is the first crush, like in winemaking. It's kind of messy. It's the juicy, messy gas that's got all the parts that you'll throw out later, like maybe when you run away from your screen because you have to put your dog in the hallway with some treats because she decides to play with her toys right when you're doing a live. Maybe. What do you think? Skelly, focus. It's been very hard with the trial. Both of us. My ADHD medicine is out of my system. Skelly. Skin and bones. Got it. Skin and bones. Okay. So I will learn hopefully more about the Karen Reed case and make a little like 20-minute specific thing about everything that went on this week, and hopefully a little bit more clear and organized. Okay. The Daybell case. Dun, dun, dun. Don't you love my teacher little fake place cards there? The Daybell trial today, I was again watching Pretty Lies and Alibis up on my big screen TV and on my phone to do the in the chat. Let me just tell you, her mods and a lot of her people, there's some hilarious snarky comments going on, but they're all real polite. But people have paid attention to the case. They're paying attention to the trial. They're very fair on both sides too. And there's people that are really trying to be um, fair. I mean, I don't. Some people are concerned that Pryor is so, you know, not doing technological moments. Look, can I talk? No, I cannot. But it just seems like they're like, oh my gosh, he's going to get ineffective counsel. All right. Let me just tell you, ineffective counsel, not that easy to get, apparently. The ineffective counsel rules, I believe, and if there's any lawyer out there, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a lawyer. But the ineffective counsel law has to do with if the ineffective counsel was like had affected the outcome of the trial. Like it could have gone either way, and the lawyer was just so bad. But if the evidence is so overwhelming, it's basically like no matter what, nobody could have gotten you out of this. Like there was a trial where a lawyer actually fell asleep a couple times and they tried to get a new trial on ineffective counsel. It has to be an actual unsure who did it, a very, like, hard to prove case, and then the counsel is horrible. In this case, you guys, and especially today, the evidence is so overwhelming. So, we had a lot of technical, people today. In fact, they still have a guy on for 40 more minutes Monday. They quit a little bit early. I think they might have had some stuff to take care of. Okay. So why Pryor? Oh, Pryor. I am all over the place with this. We had David Stubbs on the stand. He is a sergeant. He is from Rexburg and he worked with the geofencing warrant people. And so he talked more about what the local people did and with the local people. Sorry, hope that wasn't bad. I had my microphone turned far away. This David Stubbs talked about geofencing, and I even one of the people I didn't but Teresa at Criminality and then the Defense Diaries and Unraveling. I forget who else I did on Twitter. I mean, I said, you guys, this guy it's another second day of somebody talking about geofencing that really fencing informs what questions we're having about Delphi, or at least what questions I'm having. And I think a lot of us, so in Delphi, they were talking about there was this extra map with these 3 numbers on it that they got at the last minute. It was one of the Franks, the third Frank's motion, I believe, or was it the last Frank's motion? There's so many, there's 4. It was one of the last Frank's motion. I think it was the third where they got a map, no report. And it looks like a cast map. And the casting guy was describing their maps and what they do. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that was created by the FBI. So this guy, David Stubbs, was saying the first thing they get when they do a geofence from Google is these long strings of numbers that are identifying devices. And you know how we have persons of interest? So there's devices of interest. Of course there's, right? Because now digital is the new DNA. You're not going to get around it. It is very hard to figure out what to do. Like if you leave your phone at home, okay, then your phone's doing something it never usually does. And if you let like Fotis Doulos, his girlfriend used his phone and walked around, and then he was seen other places. So then it was obvious that he was cheating and somebody else had the phone. And it is very hard to recreate your normal digital patterns or to delete anything that you did on your phone digitally. So this guy was talking about they had, just like in Delphi, they had a time frame that they wanted to look for. They geofenced a certain time and a certain area. And what they did was they geofenced around Chad's property, the backyard, and around Lori's condo where Lori and Alex and Melanice lived. And then they looked for numbers that were at both. And really, the number that was at both came back to Alex. Alex was the person at both places during this time frame. Beside that, expected people being expected where they were supposed to be, right? So I was wondering how this guy described this was they first get this from Google, they get these strings that are associated with Google accounts. So you know how you can have multiple Google accounts? So it doesn't tell you the person and it doesn't tell you the IPS address. It doesn't tell you anything, just this string of numbers is this Google account. And that Google account was associated with some device, could have been a phone, could have been an iPad, could be a computer that was in that geofenced area. That's what this man was talking about. And they were talking about in relation to Alex because Pryor keeps talking about Melanie Gibb. He loves Melanie Gibb, he loves raccoons and staircases. Those are all very sus in Pryor's world. And everybody's like, why is he so focused on Melanie Gibb? Okay, so it's pretty easy to follow Pryor because I'm sorry, he's not very. If you know the case and you can see where he's going, he's like driving a Mack truck through this, like, okay, well, Melanie Gibbs said she had JJ. Remember, because they called and said, say you have JJ. And she stupidly told the police. And I think David Warwick, she was talking with him. And before she taped that call, I think David Warwick said, did you just tell the police, yeah, you had JJ, but you gave him back? And, they were trying to get her then to send a picture of kid, like, go take a picture of kids, blah, blah, blah. And David Warwick's like, dude, they're setting you up. You were up there at this time when JJ went missing. We saw him on Alex's shoulder. Then we never saw him again. I remember the weird stuff at night. We couldn't find him. And now JJ's missing and they're telling you to say you had him. Girl, you're in danger, as Whoopi Goldberg's character would say. I really do think that's what snapped Melanie Gibb out of the thing, because if she would have taken a picture and then sent it to Lori and Chad to send it to the police, like, oh yeah, she has them, and she knew she didn't ever have them. She didn't send them to Kay, and then finding out Kay was the one who actually had said he was missing. They were setting Melanie Gibb up. So Pryor is using Chad's original setup and being like, did you look at Melanie Gibbs' phone? Was Melanie Gibbs' phone there? And they're like, Melanie Gibbs' phone was not there. And then Pryor's like, but you didn't look at everything she had. And they're like, the prosecutor came in and cleaned it all up afterward. And he was like, sir, did Melanie Gibbs start working with the law enforcement like long ago, right after blah, 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 at the time, that call? And he's like, yes. And did you know if her phone was there? No, her phone was not there. Okay, Pryor, sorry. Stop trying to make fetch happen. And then the stuff about the raccoon and if there's really stairs in the back part of the house or not, that is all just to make everybody else look like liars, because Chad was just this nice, normal guy whose wife just happened to keel over. And yeah, she had liver mortis and she had rigor mortis, but it's probably the devil doing that. Anyway, that guy sort of explained through geofencing who was where, when, and I thought it was really interesting in regards to the Delphi case. The Lori Vallow stuff, they asked, oh my gosh, they went through her Google. They went through all her Google stuff and the buying, like looking at the rings, looking at the stuff on her Google. Like, I am telling you, people, do not Google your crimes. Don't Google anything related to your crimes. Don't Google anything. Don't Google. That's my advice. First, my advice is don't commit a crime ever. And if you have committed accidentally a crime, like I think what happened in the Karen Reed case, just tell somebody. And especially if you're connected at all, they'll find a way to get you out, or the least amount. Just throw yourself at the mercy of the court. Don't lie. You will get caught. Your phone will tell on you. Yeah, they were just talking about the Lori for Style and the Lolly time and the searches made. And of course, the searches for all the wedding stuff and the rings were all before Tammy was dead. They were all at that time that we know from the text messages entered into evidence before, that she had been like, no, Chad, just stay with your wife. Oh, forget about me. And Chad's like, oh no, I'm going to get me some of that. I need that strange, girl. Anyways, then, but this is Chad on trial, right? So Pryor doesn't mind much about throwing Lori under the bus, but Chad, when they looked at his Google search history on September 8th. And then they remind people, well, Pryor really interrupts. He hates this when they remind him of the deaths of everybody and how it is in relationship to the search. He looked up what direction the wind was for the 9th. And the prosecution was able to get the witness to say, and was that the day that you think Tylee was, he asked it in the appropriate way, because we can't be like Pryor and go, what does he say? Was Tylee Ryan killed that day? Right. And like he testifies and just says right to get them to say that. Or would you agree to my testimony as Pryor's? Sorry, John Pryor. That I am sure John Pryor's style in small doses could be very effective. It is week after week. He's getting tired. He's on the struggle bus with us. He's all by himself due to him and Chad's own fault. I mean, could have gotten help long ago, but he wouldn't. Yeah, they thought they'd just blame it all on Lori. So they looked for wind direction on the day that there was that big bonfire. And obviously they didn't want a certain smell going towards people's houses. They wanted it to go away from people's houses. Let's see, what else did they find? Oh my gosh. There were 10 devices seized in Hawaii. They talked about that they found, this was the other horrific thing. On the 10 devices, on one of them, there's a flash drive that had a bunch of pictures of Lori and Chad's wedding, and they showed them. And just, you guys, ridiculous wedding photos. I mean, you would have thought they were 16 at the prom. They're just so stupid. It's over the top. And to think that Tammy had been dead not 2 weeks or exactly 2 weeks, it's disgusting and gross. It's gross anyways, because they're gross. Chad's gross. Ugh. Sorry, just my opinion, allegedly. But the sad thing was, the guy was talking about the forensic software they used to look at people's stuff, and the forensic software is specifically designed that it can't mess. He didn't use the word metadata, but he said you can't change anything. So you can look through things, but every time, like if you copy stuff over and like whatever you try to do, it wouldn't do, because it's just for looking forensically at these items. Then he said that forensic software also can do something else. It can see what's been deleted. And you guys, you know what was deleted? God, it almost makes me cry, even though I don't know these people. The pictures from Chad and Tammy, all the way back to when they started dating, their children's photos, being born, all their major events growing up, all their holidays, everything up until the day Tammy died, all of it wiped. He just basically, he didn't just replace Tammy and kill her. He literally deleted her out of his life. Alt delete. Unbelievable. John Pryor gets up on cross and tries to be like, do you know if he copied any of those over to another jump drive before he deleted them? And then look at the jury, and dun dun, he hears that in his head. I totally agree with Gigi and everybody else who said it. He looks at he's hearing that noise when he looks at the jury. He thinks he is slick. He is Columbo-esque. Not, but that was really disgusting. Looking up, like, you can't say that Chad didn't know what was happening when he looked up the win for when Alex had brought over Tylee. Even though, Pryor's like, it was Melanie Gibb who brought over. I'm like, Tylee, I have a larger daughter. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having kids who are bigger. I will tell you, though, I couldn't carry her body, especially anybody's body, grown-up size, dead weight, but a bigger body. There is no way Melanie Gibb was hauling Tylee Ryan somehow secretly onto Chad Daybell's ground and burying people and burning them. I mean, not without Chad's help, because he's looking up wind direction. It's just so ridiculous. All right. So yeah, he deleted Tammy physically, literally, in photos, mortally. It's disgusting. And then we had a break, and yeah. Then there was Steve Daniels from the FBI, and he was part of the ERT team, which is the evidence response team. He is located in Salt Lake City, but they handle Utah, Idaho, and um, Montana area. And he described his background. And you know what it was? He didn't call it this, but he described the body farm. And if you know, you know. And I'm sorry, I'm so excited. Over in my little books over there, the body farm is real big with Patricia Cronwell, Kathy Wright. I'm trying to think. Patricia Cronwell, her stuff is set in like Quantico area in Virginia. And so the body farm is in Tennessee, but people who are pathologists and medical examiners, the body farm is a big deal. I think, was it Patricia Conway whose book was called The Body Farm? There's a mystery book called The Body Farm. So, and I've read a lot about like, heard like fictionalized versions. I mean, I know that like Berry Pigs, and they do get people. I think I'm going to donate my body if it can go to the body farm. And there's also, I think, another one out west somewhere, but they probably because they need different conditions. They take cadavers, people who've donated their bodies to science, and also pigs, I believe, because pigs are a lot. This is probably gross. Sorry, trigger warning. Pigs decompose a lot like humans, so they use them for a lot of testing, forensically and other scientific things, and medically when they want to test how drugs will work. Pigs are very much like us. Oh my gosh, what was that book? Anyways. I'm gonna get tangent. I'll tell you about my books some other day. But he talked about his background was they learned all about this decomposition and how bodies look different at different times, and they viewed this because he said, what did he call it? Our training center in Knoxville, Tennessee, the some like, but he didn't call it the body farm, but that's what it was. And then he said to graduate, he had to um they had to they had to have pretend, but it was real bodies. Five bodies, and they had to like find, get them out of the ground, say, analyze things, take all the picture, like do all the steps that he described they did at the Daybell site. It was fascinating. Highly, I'm such a weirdo. So enjoyable. Somebody in chat was like, "This is so boring," and I'm like scribbling notes, looking up Body Farm. Like, yeah, that's it. Oh my god, this is so great. So he said a week before they raided Chad's property, they got the search warrant, no knock. They um, then got aerial photos. They started working with all the different sites to get information on Chad's property, where it looked. They knew from some of the other information that they were looking for a fire pit. They could see it aerially from the sky. And they knew, oh my gosh. And he had to dig out bodies that had been like desecrated in that manner. That's one of the, like, they learned all that stuff at the body farm. They, I'm trying to think of what else he did ahead of time. They knew they had some prepared. Oh, I wrote it down. I'm trying to remember when I actually took notes. Okay. Let's see. He said that they had their priority areas, and they had the teams, like who was going to handle what, and they had the telephone pings they used to see, looking on the map, to see where they thought, like where Alex had been, because they had, they were putting two and two together there. Yeah, everybody had a job. Somebody was like the photographer, whatever. And they wanted to go into the outbuildings. So, oh, in the pet cemetery, that was the other area. So the priority areas, looking around, the pings were around the pond. They were looking for a fire pit, and they were looking for the pet cemetery. And they had some general ideas from some aerial photos and just surveillance. Then they went into the buildings, the outhouses, and looking for tools. And so the guy after that was, or was it the same guy? Was it still Agent Daniels? Yeah, he'll be back, and he was one that's going to be back on Monday. They brought out actual tools that they took, and he was talking about them. Now we haven't heard about the analysis. We just were being introduced to. So what did you find? So like we knew they found Tylee, they found JJ, they found bricks on Tylee that they thought looked like the stuff, the stone that and thing that was put on JJ's grave that was more intact and organized. And so then they like found bricks that were similar over in Chad's garage area. See, this wasn't like somebody just put this on Chad's property without his permission. A lot of the stuff was from his property and was then put back on his property because, just because you hack somebody up with a pickaxe, you're not going to throw away that pickaxe. Ask Barry Morphew. He'll tell you, you're going to clean it off with bleach and keep it because, come on, that costs money. Just my opinion. Just my speculation. Don't sue me. All right. Yeah, so Agent Steve Daniels will be back Monday. And I said the Karen Reed case, another firefighter. Oh my gosh. So the fight, back to the Karen Reed case. Sorry. It was the second notes. The firefighter that they had on before they went to their field trip to see the scene was this girl who the defense brought out. Well, aren't you friends with the Albertsons on Facebook? And did you go to high school? And she's like, well, yeah, but like I don't really know her that much now. I mean, yeah, we've gone out, we've taken pictures, but we're just acquaintances. I was from a really small town that's like not quite a suburb, but now I live in a suburb of a city, but I did live in a small town. And I will just tell you, when you go to high school, people in a city that's small enough to just have 2 fire stations, that's pretty tiny. The high school, and you're friends with them in high school, and you still see them after high school as adults. You're a first responder. Their spouse is in the first responding business. Yeah, you talk. How much would you lie for them? I don't know. If there was a federal investigation going on, I'm not lying for anybody. I've even told my kids, like, I understand conspiracy charges. You do something, if you, the answer is, I will take you to the police. We will get you a lawyer. You say lawyer, and you don't talk. You do what Ruby Frankie did, which she was very proud of, apparently. You don't have to be a freak like she was, but you just say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk until I have representation. I want my lawyer. Lawyer, lawyer, lawyer. That's all you need to say. And I think that protection is good. As a mom, that's what I'm saying. But like there are moms, my sister always goes, oh, I'll bury a body for you. Honey, don't call me. I will tattle on you because I am not going to jail for anybody. Not my husband, not my kids, not anybody. I try really hard to be getting in trouble because I would not do well in prison. I would be like Richard Allen. I would fall apart and almost die because prison is a horrible place. Who wants to go there? Nobody. And you think you can beat the charges? You can't. So anyways, I think this first responder, female firefighter, was doing her friend a solid? I don't know her story. It just seems like if you know somebody who's on one side of the things, maybe you shouldn't be the best person to put up on the stand. And usually the state knows this. If they're going to put up 3 or 4, like they pick the firefighters that aren't involved with the people who heard the same thing. I'm not sure what the prosecution is doing by putting up people that can be so easily knocked down. That's just what it is. Okay, and the last thing, besides, they are still going at it on on Icked Mouse channel. I am telling you guys, if you're interested in watching police chases and things that happen when police get people cornered and how they have to try to get them, it's pretty unbelievable. Suzanne Morphew. Okay, guys. I will actually put this in an upload. Hopefully I get done this weekend, and then it'll be like a real upload just separate about what's going on with the Susan Morphew case. But as Gisela K, you guys, it's a 6-hour upload. I will try to scrunch it down into a little like 20-minute presentation that I'll tape. But I will just tell you, she reading through that PCA, there are so many things, especially now that we have the body, and that was the thing that was missing. And it's as bad as Chad Daybell's, to be quite honest. She's reading through. Now, again, that this is the evidence written by the prosecution. And if it was a civil case, Emily D. Baker would call it that it was just allegations and shade, because, it is from one side. But in a criminal case, in a murder, they do try to put in facts. And the facts are that Barry changed his story. The facts are that Barry was the only person with Suzanne. It was during COVID. He lied about everything, like literally everything from that Friday to that Sunday. He set up a fake alibi, and the crime itself that seems to be staged seems to be allegations, just my opinion, based on that PCA and evidence, but still my speculation. Iris, Eton, and whoever the lady with 3 names is. I mean, y'all have your work cut out for you. I hope you're not chasing down random YouTubers, because, girl, you're in trouble. This case, it's a whole other case than, before it was, oh my gosh, Suzanne ran away. They can't prove that she didn't go away with another boyfriend. She had one boyfriend, and, who knows where she is? We don't have a body. They're just saying she's dead. Anyway, I'm only on the second hour out of 6. She's on page like 31 or 32. And there are so many irrefutable changes in what Barry said happened. As he learns more from the police, his story changes, and it just morphs. Morphew? More like Morpew, because it stinks. All right, that was a bad one. All right, you guys. So I'll tell you more about it. Is there one thing to tell you about? I mean, besides the fact he listened to a case about a woman who was, I think it was a girl, taken off her bike was just left in the middle of the road, and her body's bones were found scattered, and they couldn't even figure out what had happened to her. Okay, Barry. God, can't you even think of your own murder? You should have used a wildcat. You should have rented a wildcat, killed her, had him attack her, eat her, and then say, oh my God, I found her in the woods. See, would have been better. You weren't thinking, you copied. Again, don't copy. Don't copy. Do your own work, but don't kill people. You guys, I did my crazy writing. I don't know why. I'm taking notes. I'm taking page. Okay, I can't see. I'm a little blown out here. Page after page after page of Barry Morphew's lies. But it's so bad. Do you remember all the people that her Facebook account suddenly, like a bunch, 3 Jeffs? He must have known Jeff, but he didn't get the right one. He picked a bunch of Jeffs and a bunch of other people, and they, like, half of them are his age that he knew that Suzanne didn't know. They were like, I thought it was weird that she requested. It's just, and lied about using the, whatever. Enter the big thing, and this was always true. Her phone pinged going from their house up in the mountains, going towards the town of Salida, and then going towards the town. What was that town? Is it Pueblo? It's not Pueblo Mesa. It's the town Poncha Springs, that you turn to go down then you head south and you go to that Moffat area where she was found. Oh, and when you see him carrying his boots, I swear to God, they're really dirty. The ones he threw away in Broomfield, and they look. I mean, I know it's my brain playing tricks on me because now I know she was buried out there, but it looks like that dirt, and they're all over those boots. That he originally said he wasn't throwing away anything, but yeah, her phone last pinged in Poncha Springs at 4:23 a.m. And you know that's before he went south. Barry, Bear, come on now. Narcissism is a bitch, isn't it? Makes you think you're so smart. I mean, he did get away with it for a number of years, and he's, had all her money. And she had a huge inheritance from both her mother passing and then her grandmother. And of course, Barry wouldn't admit she was dead. That was the other weird thing. Iris Etan and Drew at the time were his two lawyers were saying, well, we can't say she's dead. But by that time he had already filed, I believe already filed for her to be dead. Like, it was the strangest excuse. I don't know why. Maybe murder criminal trials and like insurance stuff. Although with the Daybell case, we know they intersect at some point. All right, guys. It's been 46 minutes. I think you're tired. I know I'm tired. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Do not commit any crimes. Do not Google your crimes. Remember, digital never dies. All right. Bye.